Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wait a second. Why am I not? There we are. Hello, 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 hello. How's everybody doing today? We're going to turn down the music just a little bit. Wait, the music's gone now, isn't it? Why is the music gone? Music, where'd you go? There you are. Nice. Okay. I am not muted. Don't lie to me. I can see the light lighting up. Why are you lying to me like this, Vanya? Why are you lying to me? Fight me. Fight me. Thank you so much for the lurk. How you doing? How you doing? Thank you, Bleeding Art. Thank you so much for the fallout. Good morning, Echo Infernal. How are you doing? Good morning, Baby Tao. Good morning, Vanya, of course. Good morning. Hi. Good morning, Lauren. Lauren. By the way, I saw that art. I totally want to be part of it. I don't know if you saw my comment on that, but you know. Good morning, Ocean. What are you drawing? I don't know. What are you drawing? Good morning, Pinky. Good morning, Mitchie. Good morning, Lynx the Pung. Good morning, Echo Infernal. I think I already thanked Echo for... Oh, thank you, Echo, for being first, Baby Top for being second, and Vonnie for being third, in case I forgot to do that, because I don't remember anymore. Good morning, Moreau. How's the little figure going? You're doing such a great job with that, by the way. Guess? I don't know. Are you drawing yourself very, very hot? My DAC not registering. Oh, can we get a shout-out for Lauren? Lauren? They're amazing. They're amazing. They're so amazing. They're an incredible artist. They're fantastic. And yes. Okay, did I fix your Twitter handle now, Vanya? Because I think I already fixed it. Me? You're drawing me? Why are you drawing me? Crazy. Well, lovely chatters. Oh, you're manhandling me? You're manhandling me? You're manhandling me. That's crazy. Is that why you made me? Is that why you made the figure? So you can manhandle me? Crazy. But how's everybody doing this morning? Everybody doing okay? Everybody doing all right? You enjoying your mornings? Kith. Mwah. EP but good. I feel you. It ain't morning. It is on my side of the world, so clearly you're just on the wrong side of the planet. All right, lovely. So what we're going to be doing today, it's not morning for me. Fine. You're also on the wrong side of the planet. You got to be on my side. Maybe don't be on my side right now. But, so what we're going to be doing this morning is we're going to be playing Scrandle. We'll probably hang out in the just chatting section for now because, you know, it is just chatting-ish adjacent, and nobody knows what Scrandle is. But what the game is that we're going to be playing is we're going to be looking at food from various football matches and other sports places, and we're comparing it. And we're talking about which food is good, which food is bad, and all that sort of thing. And let's see if we can get Vanya up in here. Calling Vanya right now. You ready, Vanya? You ready? We're calling you anyways. Good morning, Laura. How you doing, Laura? Boo. Why are you booing me? No one can save you now. No one can save you now. Okay, let me make sure I'm capturing just you real quick. Bum. Okay, Vanya, speak.
Hello?
Hey, there you are. Mwah. There's your kiss, Laura Vix.
I'm not here.
You are here.
I'm not here. I'm a figment of your imagination. I don't know what you're talking about.
Why don't I believe that? Why do I think that you are in fact real?
No.
You are real. Sorry that this is how the way that you had to find out that you're real.
You didn't take your meds.
My meds don't prevent psychosis.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Curse upon you.
Why are you cursing me? No cursing me. Don't curse me.
I've cursed you before. Do it again. Yeah.
Don't you dare. Stop trying to curse me. But everybody, that's Vonnie over in the corner dancing. with my son.
This is our son. It's our child. That's why you were impreg for so long.
I don't believe you.
What do you mean?
What do you mean I was empreg for so long? How long have I been empregged? Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you for the hydrate.
Look.
Echo says hi. That's 9 months. That's not a long time. That is the normal amount of time to be empregged.
Yeah, see, it's our son.
Tell Vanya they have a cute voice. Vanya, you have a cute voice.
I don't. What you mean?
I'm gonna fucking fight you.
I'll fucking eat you, bitch.
That's
actually,
that's a lot. That's a lot.
What do you mean that's a lot?
You don't have to eat somebody for saying your voice is cute.
They're wrong. Therefore, they go in my stomach.
Okay.
It's the
That's the rule.
I need to check
sure?
my Fuji because that's the wrong one. Actually,
No,
that's not
it's
the one.
dancing. Look at him dance. Mitchie says cute Vanya.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
No, Mitchie is a cute one. Mitchie, you're the fucking beautiful one. I've seen you before.
Bully Vanya.
Don't bully me.
I get bullied so much. It's not fair. Bully Vanya.
You bully me all the time. What do you mean?
Vanya has a cute voice. There's no denying it, says Echo.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I sound like trash can dweller.
You are a raccoon. No matter what voice you had, you'd sound like a trash can dweller.
Okay, thanks, man.
I agree. Exactly. See? Oh,
Hi,
praise.
Moro. Hello. Hi, chat. It's me. I'm the strummer, actually. Gene, get the hell out of here. It's my stream now.
Cookie, thank you so much for the redeem. You are adorable. You are fantastic. You are a very, 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 very lovely person. I really love the art that you do. And I just think that you're very, very, very neat. As long as you do good and do good by others, good things will happen to you. I promise. Just keep being as wonderful as you are. Thank you so much for the redeem. Vanya stream? It is a Vanya stream. I don't know how much G-subs I just put in this water.
Did you not use the scoop?
I did. I quit counting. Vanya, take my
Don't
panties.
know how many
no
scoops
panties.
you put in?
I wasn't paying attention.
Whoa! Why are you throwing it at me? Hey!
Violence. All right. Boom. Scrandle.
No littering.
You see, chat? Can you see the Scrandle?
I can't.
I know, you don't need to see it. Not important.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Ooh, Gene doesn't get to have any? That's crazy.
Wow. You know what? You know what? You'd be surprised. Mitchie, I don't think your panties would fit on me anyways, so, like, why'd I want them?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
They're trying to give me panties. I'm like, the panties aren't going to fit me, so, like, why would I want them?
Why won't they fit?
Why did you? Because they're too small. I'm a big boy.
What if they're stretchable?
I don't want to have. I have things and bits down there that don't do well with a lot of tight pressure.
How about you just tuck? What the
What was
fuck
that?
was that?
Huh?
How about you just tuck?
I'm sorry, you're saying?
Why don't you just tuck?
Oh, wait. Sorry, I don't think I'm doing this properly. Give me a second.
You're quiet for me. Hold on.
Oh,
Okay,
you know
speak.
why? Because of communism.
Why?
1 second.
Oh. Are we in capitalism now? What's happening? I'm so confused. Where'd Gene go?
Okay, there we go.
Okay, wait, hold on. Speak.
You can hear me better now?
Just...
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, it sounds better now.
There we
What
go.
the fuck?
There's the reaction I was looking for.
What the hell?
Okay. Hi, chat. So, yes, numb arm. Why'd you wake up with a numb arm? What are you doing that's making you wake up with numb arms?
Jorking it?
Hardcore jorking it. Woke up after hardcore jorking and now my arm's numb. We win, chat.
Bitch.
We win. Haha, get wrecked, nerd.
Nuh-uh.
Okay.
Nuh-uh.
I'll do it again. No, you're enjoying it
How
too
many
much.
shirt scraps do you still fucking have?
Oh, this is one I ripped the other day. So, like, most of the shirts still left.
Wait, you ripped it the other day?
Yeah, I, like, ripped it when I got back from vacation.
Oh.
Okay, here we go, chat. You ready?
Bitch.
Are you ready? You see the screen?
Cookie, you need to go to sleep.
Go sleep, Cookie. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
We're gonna do practice. We're
already. That's great. That's crazy. It's the long dog.
It's long dog. It's long dog.
Wait,
chat.
what is this fucking? Look at how they're holding it. What is that plate? Why is it folded?
You
like
can
that?
be jorking it and your arm go numb still, even if you are a lady.
That's true. I can say from experience.
It's true. Okay. I feel like this plate that's how they had to hold it, or else it would have fallen. Oh, wait, is the plate made like this? Is it a triangle plate, or have they warped this somehow?
I don't know. You know what? It looks like the Rainbow Six Siege. What is it? The loot box. I think some Siege.
The alpha packs?
Is that what they're called?
The ones that are like in bags?
That's what it reminds me of. No, it's like a. No, I'm thinking about Apex Legends. My bad.
Oh, I would not know. Okay. So here's the question. This might be a personal view. Okay. Mac and cheese, apparently, with unmelted cheese.
Again?
Long dog. £8.60. £3. Long dog.
The right one is from the US, and it's not melted. Wait, hold on. Wait, I'm actually pissed off.
What?
I thought you guys are good at mac and cheese. What the fuck is this?
I don't look. This does not count. Okay, we're gonna talk about this real quick. My Faja was in the military, okay? And he. One second, I'm getting ear blasted by this music. I need to turn it down so I can focus.
I'm gonna ear blast you next.
There we go. Okay.
Who
Anyways,
said that? That's
crazy. Okay, so my father was in the military, right? And one of the things that they did was like they made a deal with the local university that if the military guys came and worked at one of the sports games, they would get to see the game for free. And also they would like give money instead of like paying the soldiers to some like event that they were doing. Okay. Well, my father worked at that. He said it was the worst experience he ever had because they pulled out like these burgers and then had a bag called like the juice. And they just like boiled the burgers in this hamburger flavored juice.
Wait, hold on.
So
you said the bag had a label called the juice?
The juice. It was just called the juice.
That's
What?
No.
What? What do you mean no? Speak.
What? The juice?
The juice.
What?
And it was burger flavoring. And so like this is why like you do not judge like football food or soccer game food or whatever food, footy food by any reasonable standard, because if they have meat patties that they soak in the juice that they had to then sell, this is impressive. That the cheese is even cheese. It might not be cheese. This might just be called something called ches, and it's actually plastic shavings.
The juice is gonna fucking haunt me now that you've told me the tale.
Yes, chat. So remember, if you're going to a soccer, football, footy match, you might be getting the juice meat. Long story short, the juice man, the juice guy. He's out there juicing burgers, and then he's just like reburgering burgers. Maybe it's a double burger.
All over the burgers. He's fucking his juice all over
exactly.
The burgers.
So we're spicy sausage, right?
Yes.
And the reason why I'm spicy sausage is because I have heartburn right now, chat, and this would kill me. This would actively kill me.
Okay, but that is like £3. That's a fucking steal. Look at that fucking hot dog, dude.
Oh. Is this a British delicacy? This looks like a British delicacy. Yes,
No, because
we've
they're
added
supposed to be
salt.
sauce.
We've added salt to our beef. That's how you can tell
Why
it's
is the
high
beef
fancy. This is the
so?
first time they've
It's
used.
so pink.
This is the first time the English have used salt on their meat, that they had to name the entire meat salt meat.
I've never seen fries served like that, even in the UK. It is a UK food.
It's chipped beef
As
is
a
what it looks like, but like it's
oh,
like
this is
preserved
from
meat.
fucking Man City. It's from
Okay.
fucking Man City.
Yeah.
Oh, Gene, you need to move your logo on stream. They can't see the top left.
Oh, yeah, chat. It's very important that you know that this is from Man City. Here, we'll cover Vanya with the logo. I'm kidding.
Of course you would cover.
There.
Me.
No, I
Eat
want to put the
my
logo.
ass. Put the logo on these nuts.
All right. I can't.
I've never had a gyro. Gyro? I don't know how you fucking say it.
Gyro?
Is it Euro? I've never
Gyro.
had one.
Well, they're good. And this is exactly how you expect one at a place like this. So, this one easily wins. This one easily. I mean, unless you want salty meat on fries.
That's 5 pounds. I'm not eating that shit, dude.
It's just salty meat on fries. This is upsetting.
There's a little bit of cilantro in there. Look at that.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank God. 62%. What were they being compared
What
to?
the fuck? No, it's just how it's wait, did I not explain to you how they rate these?
You did, but I forgot.
It's like a Twitter poll underneath a post of the photo itself, and it's like, would you eat this? And then it's either yes or no.
Oh, okay. All right, good night, Ocean.
Yeah. Good night, Oshi.
All right. Do you see?
Mac.
No, I want to like
Why
really.
do you spell it like that?
What the fuck? What the fuck is? No. Look at this. It's just a sausage on bread with pickle.
That's normal in some European countries. It just
I know, but still, it's. Anyways, I want to really walk through this picture on the left here. Okay, we're gonna take some slow time. Good night, Ocean. Mwah, love seeing you. Okay, so first,
Good night.
Do you see the picture of the chicken burger?
Yeah.
The sauce dripping all over it, the veggies, this everything. So they tell you how the burger should look. Now look down at the left. Why would you do that?
Single with the mayonnaise, which is immediately pissing me off.
Why would you
do
do
they got
this?
Some greens.
Yeah, I mean, there's tiny bit of lettuce on the bottom. Yeah. But like, why would you show how the product is supposed to look and then give you a worse product? Whose idea was this marketing? Even the type of breading that they do on the chicken is different.
That looks like a fish and chips, like put in a burger.
Yeah. I'm tempted to go with the sausage.
No, it has a beer, dude. Look at the price difference. It comes with a free beer.
That's fair. No, just a sausage pickle bread. Oh, with a beer. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's more worth it. More.
I feel like we're gonna lose this one.
I don't care. I honestly don't fucking care. Like.
Yeah.
94.7.
I would eat it, but oh god, not you
Bacon
and
your
not you and them fucking mashed peas. What is with mashed peas?
Okay, listen, I don't really eat mashed peas. That's more like my father's thing. But like, that's too much peas.
And why are they always so liquidy?
Ratio it. No, it's because it's mashed. That's how it is. It's like
I know mashed potatoes.
Yeah, they try to do it into that. Yeah, they try to do it at consistency because it mixes with the gravy.
So is it the consistency of mashed potatoes? It just always looks so liquidy.
I think so. Usually it is.
Chat, we're gonna have to try mashed peas to see the consistency is right. Because if the consistency is okay, it's not.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't like mashed peas. Like usually it's served by itself as well. Sometimes I try not to. If it's like with gravy on a pie, I'll have some. Okay. It's just like if it's too much, I will not eat it. I'm like the one British person that doesn't like it. Night.
That being said, though, this pie looks okay. This burger looks microwaved. This looks like a burger soaked in the juice.
Oh my fucking choose. Look at the what is that? Is that pickle? It's like what is
This
that?
on the left side?
What it looks like it's like gelatin.
That's coagulated cheese. That's Chez.
I just gagged. I just gagged.
I know. This
Wait,
is
we gotta go with
definitely
the left though, because it comes with a pint.
all right. There we go. Okay. Mushy
There
peas
you
are always
go.
iffy, but the rest of it's
No. Okay, the right one is like okay. Let me. Can I walk you through my thought process right now?
Go for it. Go for it.
The right one has the fucking proportions of like a DeviantArt like inflation fetish like piece of art. The left one is like a Snapchat dick pic is like the lighting.
It is.
These are two big jump scares for me.
I'm sorry. Let me get that sensual picture of this meat pie. I'm just gonna get right in there with that nice warm lighting camera and just take a look at my meat.
Gene,
Yes.
please reply. I sent you my pie. Please reply.
There's too much lettuce on that burger. There's too much onion on that burger. Why is this triple dog? No. Oh god. Look how thick the onion is. Look how thick the onion
Gene,
is.
have I shown you that video of the burgers?
Probably not. This is a $10 burger. Did they just like, I need onion, and they just charge? This is $2, £2.
From Scotland.
They must have
That looks
ordered
like a really
extra
nice
onion.
pie.
This looks like an amazing pie. I mean, like obviously we're going with the pie, but like this.
No.
What?
I don't think they added the onion. I've
You
seen
just-
burgers like that before.
With 3 layers of onion?
Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. This is the video I was talking about. It's what it immediately reminds me of.
Okay.
What's this motherfucking thing? The
seen the
Saturn
beginning.
burger?
I asked for no pickle and they give me the fucking McPickle pounder. What?
Oh God. Okay. We'll watch that on the stream later. Okay. Meat pie. Honestly, the idea of this onion is giving me heartburn. The idea of this onion is making me feel sick.
Okay, but also like the one slice of tomato with like the 3 like thick like slices of onions pissing me off. Come on. What is this like cropping?
Why
He's
is the
holding it like
left
his
one
dick.
why is the left one like this is the advertisement photo and the one on the right's like, yes, look at my pie crust. Look at how girthy it is. I can't even see the filling, man. I don't even know if there is filling. It's just like a zoomed in picture of pie crust. This could be anything.
It's a meat pastry apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
It's from Old Town.
Where is the meat?
It's right there. He's holding his meat. Can't you see?
God, shut up. Well, we're not even going to spend much time on. It is $1 though. It's £1.
I searched up that exact name, and it's coming up with meatloaf.
Pastel
That doesn't
dot-
look like meatloaf.
No.
That's what
This
I'm-
is
that's what I'm looking
pastry of meat.
No, I'm looking at my dude.
I believe you're
Okay,
looking
fuck it.
at it. I believe you're wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking at your meat too. Anyways, I think the breakfast lap wins.
Obviously, easy.
That's hash browns, dude.
84%. I mean, that's fair.
The definition of age.
Is this the same
You're
guy?
the worst.
Is this the same guy? Just like, everybody look at how I hold my food and we take pictures so you can see where I'm at.
It's shot the same way. It's like if you do like the thirds like framing with a camera, it's like shot the same exact way.
The same height,
What's
everything.
happening?
It's just like, wait, what is this? What is this fucking SWAT vehicle in the background here? Guys, look at my tacos. Also, the police are here.
Oh, that's just a security van. It's in Mexico. Look at that.
What are you trying to say about Mexico, huh?
No, it's like similar to the Philippines, kind of. That's how it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Food. The tacos could be fantastic. They could be horrible. They could be the most disappointing thing ever. They're just very generic.
Mm.
What is this? Why is there
Choripan?
lawn clippings on my ham? Who blended up
that
the
looks like-
lawn?
Hmm. Chorizo sausage served in a crusty bread roll. Is what this is saying. Okay, I am looking up images of like what this is supposed to look like, and that's the
Okay.
most depressing one I've seen.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
hi, Celine. Hello, Vanya. Vanya, they say hi.
Hi, Nibby.
Okay.
Nibby, let's make out.
I think
in
we
front of
need to
Gene.
start comparing prices. Okay, this one you get 3 tacos, you get the meats, you get potatoes, you get lime, and it's $2.40. And this one looks like halfway doable. This one, I'm so concerned by what is on this.
That does no, because that doesn't even look like what like I seen.
So
What
they're
am I
just
supposed to
lying
look
to us, is what it is. Okay, well, it's an Argentina one. Maybe it's fancy. Tacos? Chat, we good with tacos?
Yes. Yes.
Tacos. Nailed it.
That's not even fancy. Argentina's just depressing. Okay, the
Hey,
left one is an
it's-
advertisement. That is not a normal photo.
Yeah, this is that chicken for the people from last time.
Oh my god, it is. Wait, it has bacon. Wait, is it like a
The
like an
cheese
actual
isn't
thing?
melted. The cheese isn't melted. You're taking an advertisement photo here and you couldn't melt the cheese?
They couldn't get like a blowtorch on?
Nah, no. They couldn't even prep this shit.
Wait, I just realized how the guy is holding the beer and the hot dog. What the fuck?
Dude got hands.
Dude,
Dude.
that's gonna slip and fall into like the lady in front of him.
I want to go with the one on the right because it's going to soak the lady on the right. This beer is immediately worth more money to me because it's going to get somebody else wet. Man likes a girl. What does that mean? Man's like a girl. What does that mean?
Unmelted cheese chronicles. This is the
It's so
epitome of
disappointing
fucking
every
Scrandle.
time. Okay. And like I understand the one on the left is going to win. But I want to soak that one.
Okay. It says with bacon and a hash brown, and I just seen the hash brown. I don't think a hash brown goes well with a chicken burger. Like in it, because it also
Oh.
has bacon. That's so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. And the cheese isn't melted. Oh,
And also,
girls try to
it's like-
hold all their
it's
stuff in one hand. Yeah, vibes.
Oh, and the hash brown is right on top of the mayonnaise. No, I can't eat a hash brown like that. It's gonna be
Okay.
too salty.
Damn, we lost chat.
What the fuck? It's the photo. It's the photo quality. Okay. Germany.
Why?
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm glad I'm not German sometimes.
What is-
You know, and see stuff like this.
Hey, come on.
Well, I mean, I guess it's savory because it's salty and sweet, but like at the same time, why?
Why?
That feels like it's $3.30. I feel like that's too expensive. It's like someone shat on the fries. It does, and then the fork is like the little like mantle.
Maybe it's just because I have heartburn right now, but the thing on the left is just upsetting me. It's upsetting me. I mean, I kind of want to... No, fries aren't... No, not fries.
The fries don't even look that good. Look, they look kind of soft too.
Yeah.
Like to begin with. See, if it was the fries on the right, it'd be like firm and like crispy. That would go well with the Nutella, but
I could see if like it was like a cold like Nutella ice cream with crispy fries because you know, have you ever
Yeah.
had fries in like a milkshake?
yeah.
And I would try Nutella fries, but that looks like liquid hot chocolate Nutella on like warm fries.
You know that shit is lukewarm. Look at
Okay, well it is now. Okay,
It's not even that much
meatballs.
Nutella.
Shit, it's
Yeah, they need fucking Stonebridge one. Or
this looks.
Starbridge.
This is the most solid British food has ever looked, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great spread.
What
It's
is
a
with
fucking burger again.
who paid them? Who paid Scrandle? Scrandle, no. I refuse. I refuse to give in to your advertisement.
St. Albans City.
Okay. Well, we're going again, chat. We're gonna do a few practices
Where
and
is
we're gonna do a
this?
real one. Okay, here we go. Here we go, chat. Look at this. Look
Hangover
at this.
I've not had
Free
a hangover burger.
free to the first 100 customers. Tantuni kebab. That's amazing.
St.
But then
Louis City.
Yeah. Yes, ich
Where
weiß
the
was.
fuck is
Ich
this?
liebe Spaghetti Eis.
Oh, Missouri.
Welcome to Failsworth.
Oh, it's
No.
from Missouri. That's why it's fucking like 100 customers.
St.
'Cause
Louis
no
City,
fucking-
South Carolina. SC, South Carolina.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, I don't believe we have a St. Louis, South Carolina, so maybe they didn't understand what the abbreviation was supposed to do, unless it's St. Louis City and they did St. Louis City SC.
No, I'm looking it up. No, it says here. It says here, St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, which is a thing. But I don't know why they have SC
Uh-huh.
here. Because usually that stands for South Carolina.
It's because that's the name. That's the name of the team.
Oh, fine. I remember going horseback riding, and then at Ford, ice cream truck would visit, and everybody would get spaghetti ice. I love spaghetti ice. Spaghetti ice is amazing. Do you know what spaghetti ice is?
Wait, what is spaghetti ice?
Check me a second. I'm gonna hide my screen. We're gonna pull it up.
What is that? Like an ice cream?
Yes.
Huh? What the fuck?
Okay, so
Huh?
no. I'll walk you through what this is. Okay.
Okay.
So what this is this is vanilla ice cream that has been pushed through a spaghetti mold, so that it has this kind of like spaghetti texture. Then it's covered in a strawberry sauce, and then it's white chocolate shavings on top of it. And a lot of times I'll add like whipped cream or whatever. But the idea is it's supposed to look like, you know, spaghetti bolognese. But it's delicious. It is delicious. The consistency is very
Is it
interesting.
yummy?
It's very good. It's very good. So good.
Chat, I'm also eating ice cream right now.
Just because
dying.
Vanya
I'm
hates
dying.
me and needed ice cream to get through this stream.
No, I get stage fright. I'm sorry. I'm nervous.
Vanya is afraid of stages, chat. Stage left. Actors. Musicals. I couldn't think of any other way of saying stage except the word stage, so I just started listing things involved in stage.
Stage.
Stage. I need to still eat lunch, actually. This is making me too hungry. Too bad. Welcome to the morning. Okay. Are we trying to win this, or are we trying to just pick the best food?
Sausage, egg, hash brown, bacon, cheese. That's wrong. I see a pickle in there, actually.
There's no pickle. Where's the pickle?
It's on the bottom. It's on
This-
top of like the last
This?
layer of cheese.
So on
That
the left
and also on
That's
the bottom.
cheese. It's all cheese.
No, the thing you just mouse over. That's a bit pickle.
This?
Look at the color. No,
It's
right.
brown. This.
Yes, see, it's
That's
like
grease.
green. That's grease.
cheese.
Ew.
It's cheese. This is cheese.
Ew. Ew.
But okay, are we trying to win
I
this
would
one?
rather deal with a hangover than eat this burger than if it's like
Honestly,
it's
can I be
oozing
honest,
oil.
chat? Hangover food never made sense to me. Hangover food never made sense to me. Because, okay, if you eat a bunch of... You get really drunk. Your stomach is all fucked, right? Why are you eating a bunch of greasy food? It's gonna make you throw up. I think the Fat Fuck Burger won. Damn it, I was wrong. Really?
It's for free
That's fair.
if it's free food, except for those fucking berries from last time. Then like it always wins. That's
What's the
$32.50.
What the fuck is it loaded with? This is an
Wait, this is
American who doesn't know
Colorado Rabbit.
prices. This is
Wait, this is near you.
$32. This is $32, not 32 pounds. They definitely didn't know how to do the prices. There's no way this is $60.
This is near you, ain't it?
Probably. I don't know.
It is. Oh my god.
What is this loaded with?
I don't fucking know. I see tomatoes, which is like
Oh
cool.
my
I like
god!
cherry tomatoes.
It's fucking. Oh my god! What's it called? Give me a second, chat. I gotta look it up. I know what it is. We have this here.
Commerce City, South Colorado. Where is this? Like in the fucking dead center of Denver? Yes, it is. There's no way it's chili.
No, give me a second.
It's your local?
It is a thing. It is a thing here. I don't know why it is. Chat, this is what it is. This is what it's loaded with. Green chili. It's a thing.
It's
I have
loaded
never
with my depression.
I have never had this before, but like this is definitely what it is. It's the green chili.
Why does it look
For
so brown? It looks like doo-doo.
It's slightly yellow. It's slightly greenish, and that's how I can tell that this is not gravy. And it has the weird chicken chunks in it. Chicken chunks. That's the green chili.
No, it's, what the fuck?
Okay, awful for the price, especially. Onion. These are amazing. The sauce, amazing. Like, cause you'll have like a little chutney sauce. It's just amazing, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, deserved.
Served.
Wait, hold on. 32.50 USD. Hold on, but that's way too expensive. What the fuck?
It's still too expensive.
That
don't
is
get
the
me
most
wrong.
depressing pizza. What is that?
Wait, chat. This one's gonna be really, really hard. Do you want sad pizza, coagulated cheese, what looks like this might be a pancake, 3 of the most dismal pepperonis? Or do you want this very nicely photographed loaded fries with green onions, hot sauce, meats, bacon, cheese, and fries? The pizza, though.
It's like the best looking like fries I've seen from England so far.
This is the
Actually,
best fries I have seen in a long time. Or do you want
it's fair.
the girl... This is going to be horrible. The girl at the bar, the girl after the bar.
Gene.
I had to make my one sexist joke, okay?
Gene. Not when I'm here.
All right, sorry. Vanya at the...
What? What do you mean?
This is just Vanya on the right
you
chat.
finish that. No, finish it.
Vanya's on the right chat. We're picking Vanya.
Who's on the left?
Me.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. What is happening here?
This is the most dry-ass chicken sandwich I've seen in my entire life.
Why is it kind of photographed like a baby photo? Do you see what I mean?
It's photoed like... Here he is, Gregory, at 2 pounds 3 ounces.
2
God.
pounds 3 ounces?
I don't know how big babies are. That might be massive for a
I
child,
don't
or that
think
might
he's
be
even
very tiny.
alive at that point.
Alexa, how fat are newborn babies?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, the average baby is born at 7 pounds.
7 pounds. Well, he's an itty baby. I didn't say it's a human baby, okay? God. It does look like
Sorry.
skin. It does look like skin. It looks...
Yeah, it looks like a skin condition.
You know what this is? This is the fried chicken that they had left over the day before and shredded.
I can see that. Like,
You can
leftovers.
see the breading. It's a pulled chicken sandwich. No, it's not. No, it's not. Be honest. You threw
probably
a
some
fucking beef burger in the...
dry grocery store buns.
Okay. Now, or we have the world's greasiest burger, so greasy that the grease went through the bread. It soaked from the meat and exposed itself onto the top of the skin. This thing is more oily than a teenager at prom. I mean, like, look at this thing. How are you that greasy?
Wait, you went to prom?
I did not, actually.
Same. Let's hold hands to that, dude.
Let's go to prom together. Oh, wait. It's too late. They really need to stop
We
showing
can
my
make our own
depression.
prom.
Chat, we're hosting prom.
Yay!
Nobody's invited.
Oh my god, can you imagine a prom event where it's like you can like
VTuber
also
prom
vote
event.
for prom queen and queen?
Chat, you can vote for
That'd be
prom
fun.
queen and queen, except it's just me 5 times.
Okay, Gene.
Okay, we're choosing the pizza because this is the worst thing in the world.
Pizza.
The pizza. Shut up.
I'm shut up. I'm sorry.
Who is doing these comparisons? Yes, would you like burnt burger with unmelted cheese? How did that happen, by the way? How'd you burn the burger and
the
not melt the
thinnest-
cheese?
Look, this is like the thinnest slice of like mozzarella cheese I've ever seen.
Or would you like
It looks expired.
this fucking
Wait,
chicken?
It's dry. It's dry.
It's dry. This whole thing has been microwaved and not even well. Or do you want... Hey, Catboy Raid! What is up, Catboy?
Whoa.
Hello, Catboys.
Wait, who rated? Hoshi Briz, hello. I hope I'm saying your name
Oh.
right. Hello.
Hoshi. Guess what? You win. You win a free sub to LuckyJene. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome. Hi, my name's LuckyJene. I'm a gambler, a writer, a flirt, and soon-to-be villain. We have a whole villain arc planned. It's gonna be fun. Actually, I don't have it planned. That's a lie, but it's happening. It's happening. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, this is my sidekick. They are a raccoon, and they're dancing with my son. But thank you. Thank you for the raid. What were you doing? What was up? Stop meowing.
Meow.
No,
No, meow for them.
I'm
It's
trying
Catboy. Catboy.
They meow. I don't meow. Shush. Bad. We're talking. I will kill you, Vanya. Live on stream right now. But hi. How was stream? What were you doing? Hey, it's a lily pad. Oh, did you bring me lily pad back? Hi, lily pad. Where'd you get off to? What were you doing? Was it fun? I gotta see what you're doing. We're gonna stalk you real quick. Give me a second while I come and stalk you. Dude. Oh, and I also just followed you, just in case, because apparently you need to tell people when you follow them. Okay, time to watch you. Chat, we're gonna watch this together. Good to know.
That's ESPN.
You are ESPN. You are ESPN, apparently. Fine. Good Vanya. Vanya, you're such a good Vanya. Okay. Wait.
Huh?
Wait. Stop. Stop ESPNing. I'm trying, okay? It's 10 seconds. We have to wait through the advertisement.
Just scroll down. Just scroll down and look at the category. You're pissing me off.
I refuse.
Strangle. I'm going to eat your hair. I'm going to make you bald. I'm making you bald.
Don't make me bald. Oh, this is somebody else.
Just suggest. Gee.
It's more advertisements. Hey! Thank you for the follow and winning again, apparently. I can't give you 2 subs, so I'll gift a random sub. Okay, 1 second.
I'll give it to Lilypad. Do they have a sub?
Oh, actually, you know what? That's fair. Where's Lilypad? Lilypad. Enjoy your free gifted sub based on the lovely Hoshi.
Yippee. He's sick?
Yes, I do.
Wait. Hoshi's sick.
Oh, Hoshi, I'm sorry you're sick. I hope you're feeling better. Except you're sick, so you're not feeling better. I hope you feel better. There we go. I'm good at this, chat.
I think the burger on the screen is not gonna make them feel any better.
Okay, Hoshi, I need your help here. So we have 2 meals here. We have to pick which one we think is better. Do you like burnt burger with 1 slice of cheese unmelted, which I don't know how that happened, and dry bread, or do you like chicken, burger, and fries? Consider though, £4.50, £10. You must have a preference. Which one is it? Which one do you think's better?
Can I just say something? The bottom patty on that burger on the right is super fucking greasy. Look at it.
Oh wait, Hoshi's sick. Did Hoshi leave? Oh no. I'm so sorry, Hoshi. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you feel better. I believe in you. I wish you luck. And yes. Thank you for singing a Valhalla voice though. Fine, we'll get back to this.
The fries look good.
The fries do look good. The whole thing looks good. What do you mean? What do you mean?
The bottom patty is like oily. Look at it.
Oh, wait. I had to go with the most because of a meal, but I need less since I don't eat a lot. So the left. You're picking the left? You're picking the left.
That's like dude, you're picking like Lover Rock Burger.
No, chat. We have to go with it. We have to go with the left. They chose left.
Oh, no!
12%.
That's way too many people saying yes.
That was way too many people.
Wait, hold on. Wait, that's the most perfect kind of beer I've ever seen. Hello?
Hoshi doesn't eat. Hoshi, do you not eat? Why don't you eat, Hoshi? Can I cook for you? Can I make you food?
Oh, is it like a liquid diet? Or like a smoothie diet? You drink?
Wait, do you drink? Now I'm confused. Hoshi, I want to know you. You.
Twinkie.
You sound interesting. I need to learn you. Okay.
I need to learn you.
I need to learn you, Hoshi.
It's for.
Hoshi, I'm gonna come watch your stream sometime. It's official. You have to
Oh my
force him
God,
to
you
eat.
How many cakes do you have, Lynx?
I think they had like
That's
100.
insane.
They only have 12
No,
left.
they said 20 yesterday.
Oh, I'm bad at math, chat.
Did you make more?
Okay. Are we ready?
Get out of bed and eat food. Get food.
We're ready.
I'm ready.
So 15-pound vegan Chipotle burger.
Yeah.
With a beer. Praise you. Wait, who am I praising, Ocean? Or do you want me to praise you? I'll happily praise you, Ocean. For Hoshi.
Too comfy.
I don't know Hoshi that well yet. But Hoshi, would you like praise?
Pronoun check.
It has pronoun check. I go by he, they. Chat, what do you go by? Wani, what do you use? But it's been redeemed
today.
praise for you. If you are comfortable with praise, I'll happily praise you. You don't get much of that. Well, Hoshi, you seem like an absolutely lovely person. Just from the vibe I get from your community coming in here and being caring about you, I know that you must be an incredible person. And especially since you brought along the lily pad, and I know the lily pad is absolutely wonderful. I'm sure you're an incredible content creator, and you'll get all the best things you deserve as long as you put in that effort. I do hope that you eat right and get the right food in you so you can be as healthy as possible. But thank you so much for the raid. And thank you for giving such good energy when you came in here. I appreciate you. And thank you for the redeem. Dog boy? I'm not a dog. I'm not a cat either. I'm a human.
He's,
see?
you know, he's a dog. He's a puppy.
Look,
He's a puppy.
Human ear. Human ears. Human ears.
No, puppy,
I'm
puppy,
clearly a
puppy.
human, chat. So,
Gene.
human.
Gene.
I'm a human.
Gene.
Look at my ears. Ah, motherfucking.
Gene. We talked about this.
Arf, arf. Arf, arf. I'm such a cute little puppy.
Good boy.
Mm.
Aww. He's so mad.
Not a dog. We've talked about that.
Puppy.
How old am I? I do not tell people that. Old enough to smoke weed. Which I have not done today, by the way, chat. It is legal where I am at, though, so just in case you're worried. But yes. Just wait until I have to do an expose for like a game or something. Speaking of, by the way, chat.
Do you live in California? No, he does
no.
not.
I live in Colorado. Speaking of, chat, I'm going to be in a game soon. I'll tell you all about the game once it gets released, and then you can hear my voice in a video game. I play 3 units in the game. The Collector, the something else, and the something else. The drone. I'm also the drone. I get to be vehicles, chat. That's right, chat. We can be vehicles. Okay, back to this. Weird fries on the right, which I guess they're chicken strips or something. Or
tenders.
vegan burger, which is concerning because that's a lot of like liquid on it.
I need to ask a question because I've never had anything with that name. What is a chipotle? Like a chipotle sauce or something? What
It's
is
like
that?
it's a pepper sauce. Yeah, I think it was Lilypad who suggested Radio, or I think somebody else. I don't, probably Lilypad. Meet you, and I'm sorry for the mess up on the words. I'm slowly getting over the sickness. I'm getting better, so don't worry. But yeah, am I bad for the left though? No. Hoshi. This is like just for fun. This is goofy. I thought it was funny that you picked that. Vehicles have voices? Yes. Well, the pilots of the vehicles have voices. Chat, do you want to... Sophie, you suggested me. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Chat,
Yippee.
would you like to hear my voice demo? Now that I've mentioned it, I can play my voice demo really quickly, and we can go back to this.
Hi,
Or we can just keep
Demoness.
playing. You want to hear my voice demo? Sweet. Okay, 1 second. You ready? 3, 2... And we're going with the fries, by the way, 100%. I don't think I'm gonna make it. My legs hurt. Even my brain hurts.
Reversing the polarity will cause a cataclysmic reaction of... turn the dials right, make device go boom!
I thought I'd left you dead in the desert. I mean, haunted by ghosts, ain't I? I guess I deserve it.
Good evening, fellow Mad Cats. DJ Fang is ready to spin more records. Coming up next, 12 commercials back to back. My favorite.
You made it! I didn't think you'd come. No one else has. Still, you seriously made my day. We are not taking any more party members. Wait, are you wearing a dead possum as a scarf?
Nah, she ain't dead. She's just scared. The poor sweetie pie.
Please, take a seat. Right here, by my side.
Where you can't get away so easily. I am Nerd. Hear me roar. I can't really roar that well, but I'm trying, okay? Well, that's what the last guy thought. And you don't want to know what happened to him.
Do not be blinded by fear, my child. Embrace it. Welcome it. Let it pass. Remember, only you shall remain in the end. And yeah. Oh, 1 second, chat. I gotta swap screen so I can get to that screen properly. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so that was all me. I appreciate that. And I just a shout out to Jake the Voice Par, who did all the editing for that. Did an amazing job. He wrote all the scripts. There was a few parts I ad-libbed, but he did all the scripts. And yeah, there you go. There's my professional voice acting demo. If you're interested in getting the voice acting demo, Jake the Voice Par on Twitter. Go check him out. Actually, you know what? Let me link him real quick. That way I feel even better about this. He also was the one who linked me up with my first voice acting gig. But you know, you gotta be cool to get one of those. Vanya's, you still there? Did Vanya die?
No.
Vanya's dead, chat. Ripperonis.
I'm
I'll miss you forever. I can still hear their voice. It's like they're still with me. Jack the Voice Par. Twitter. Jake. Oh, Jake. Sorry, Jake the Voice Par. Wow. I'm so glad he's a a good buddy of mine. But yes, go check them out on Twitter if you want to go see the person who did my voice acting demo reel. Very good, very cool guy. Yes. All right, back to Scrandle.
You gotta redeem. Gotta praise Lily Pad.
Oh, Lily Pad, would you like praise? Oh, a good girl.
Oh, wait,
good girl
not
for Lily
praise.
Pad. Would you like to be called that, Lily Pad? If you would not like it, I will not call you that. I need consent. Hi, Keeper. How you doing? Hello.
Keeper!
What kind of demon voice was that? Why you turn into a demon?
Sorry, I love Keeper so much. Let me activate. Jeez.
All right, Lilypad, what would you prefer? Good girl, good boy, good pet, or any? Don't choose any. Any's not an option, actually. You have to pick your own thing. If you pick any, I will call you good any. Thank you. Lily, such a good girl. Thank you so much for the redeem motion. Okay, back at it. Chips. We've done so good at this chat. Hi, Demoness. How you doing? But also, first off, I'd like to also go back and say thank you all for all the follows, because we were doing something. Human, thank you for the follow. Raspberries, thank you for the follow. Hoshi, love you. Thank you for the follow. And Blueberry, Baby Blue. Blueberry Baby Blue, I like your name. Thank you for the follow. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, to be fair, like, fries is mostly what you're going to get at one of these places. Coconut shrimp. Coconut shrimp. Coconut shrimp, 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 coconut shrimp.
Truffle oil fries.
The left,
that sounds so fucking good right now.
The left. Oh god, yeah. We're not even gonna. Yeah, no. Coconut shrimp. Go.
Keeper. Did you see what Keeper just said to me?
Make out with me, you sexy
goodness.
You're gonna hang out? Oh, sweet. Well, okay. Hoshi, I will not tell on you. Who can I tell on you to? Somebody, quickly, give me somebody to report Hoshi to.
Lord and Savior Iron Mouse? Oh, no.
Chat, I'm calling Iron Mouse. I don't know Iron Mouse, but we're calling Iron Mouse. Oh, you are sick. No, okay, go get on your phone, go lay down, and you can watch me while you're like, did you just gah? It sounded like a sound effect. Okay.
No, I do sound effects. I do my own.
Did you do a sound effect?
No, I did the voice myself.
Well, I know, but what voice? What'd you do?
Oh, I just did a little. I don't know. You're making me self-conscious. Shut up.
Okay.
I'm never speaking again.
So here's my issue with anything with cheese at one of these places. Hoshi doesn't know me, but I know Hoshi. That's terrifying. Hoshi, be careful. Okay. Here's my issue with anything with cheese on it at these places is look how like cold it is.
We've seen this exact fucking pizza too.
I hate the French fries in this one.
Okay, but the meat looks good.
The meat looks really good, but the French fries.
Price includes bottled drink. No, that seals it.
Okay, we'll go with the bottle drink one. There we go.
There we go.
Not the onion burger.
It's the fucking
Why
onion.
Why?
No, we gotta watch the burger video. You have to watch the burger video.
Fine,
now.
we'll watch the stupid burger video. Give me a second, chat. We're gonna watch the full burger video.
Damn, I'm sorry for giving you content. Fuck.
Yeah. Give me a second, chat. I gotta swap my window capture here. We're watching the burger video now. Okay, chat.
The burger could restart it.
What's this motherfucking thing? The Saturn burger?
Asked for no pickle.
Oh
and
wait,
they
you
give me
can't
the
hear it, can you? Chat, you
No.
can't hear it. There's no audio
No, I can.
capture. You can. They can't.
No, they can. No, they can.
Wait, chat, you can hear
I'm
it?
watching the stream.
Oh, okay.
fucking McPickle pounder. What the fuck is this bullshit?
Fucking tomato nader Wendy's gave me. Look at this fucking thing, dude. What the fuck is this shit?
Motherfucker for a burger, you motherfucker gave me goddamn lily pad. God damn.
That's why whenever Lilypad first came in the stream, I was like, Lilypad.
What's this motherfucking thing?
I think this
The
is my favorite
Saturn
one though, because they got an onion that's so big, but it doesn't actually touch the meat. It touches none of the burger. It is orbiting. That is.
What
this
brand is that?
motherfucking thing? The Saturn burger?
That's Wendy's.
Asked for no pickle.
That's
and they
Wendy's?
give me the fucking McPickle pounder.
Amazing. Amazing.
I'm gonna pickle pound Eugene. Who said that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
I was crazy
Speaking of
once. They put me
Wendy's,
in a room.
there's a Wendy's avatar
Wendy's
on
nuts.
Discord now. Okay.
The burger's shaped like exactly. As long as you get some rest. I'm glad I'm entertaining though. Okay, chat. Do we want the onion, or the onion, or do we want
The full Monty?
Can somebody
Chili
explain to
patties,
me
bacon
what?
sausage, onion.
No. What is this middle thing?
Wait, I would eat that. That's sausage.
Why is it look like foam?
It's just
Why
how
does it
the
look like
sausage is-
styrofoam on the inside?
I think it's just like how they cooked it, cause like normally it's like I don't know.
You cook it until it becomes
I
foam.
think they boiled it. I think it's boiled.
Oh, is it British? It's
I would
British.
still eat it,
of
though.
course, it's boiled.
It's the full Monty, chat. I would eat that.
All right, chat.
Actually.
Are we eating onions?
It's like half the fucking price, Gene.
But it's so greasy, and I have heartburn. Yeah. What do you? Okay. I mean,
I'm
sure.
looking at it right now. I would
Look
eat
at the
that.
styrofoam sausage here. It has sucked up so
That's fine.
much.
That's
Okay,
fine.
no, but you have to pick one, chat. You have to pick one. Here's the thing. Here's what we're gonna do, chat. The first person who picks one is what we'll go with.
Okay.
Remember, this one's 5 pounds.
Please.
This one's 10 pounds. Okay, kiss. Mwah. Mwah.
Do I have to do
waiting.
one?
Only if you want to kiss, chat, I guess. You don't have to.
Why do you sound so jealous? Damn.
They're my chat. They both look awful. You have to pick one, chat. There's a man with a gun. He's holding a gun to your head, and he's going, if you don't pick
Monty.
a burger right now, I'm going to
Link said,
shoot you.
Monty, you gotta pick
Oh,
the
perfect.
burger.
Links didn't even have to be threatened. That's fair. All right. What is with these insane greasy burgers? No. Non-melted cheese. Melted cheese.
And it's
Non-melted
more
cheese.
expensive.
Melted cheese. I'm not
Wait,
even letting you.
I've seen this burger before. That's the one I thought was like what was it like a blade of grass and it was like a toothpick.
Oh yeah. We're doing this one. There you go. There you go.
91.
All right, chat. We're doing better. We're almost ready for the daily. I think one more and we should be good for it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Double mega burger, but it's like, oh my god, you can see the fucking grease pooling.
I don't like unmelted cheese. I like melted cheese. If you're gonna put it on a burger, better melt. Okay, 175. This is liquid. This makes me feel sick.
Why does the bread look like a puckered butthole? I'm sorry, that was really out of pocket.
This is just how bread is some places, okay? It's stylized. It's supposed to look like that.
I've never seen it.
This is
like
the Polish and German bread thing. Don't judge the bread.
That's what the bread looks like over there.
Yeah, well, some of it does. You love the vibe. Thank you, Hoshi.
I gotta go to Germany then. Fuck.
No, not all the bread is a puckered butthole, but like it is a thing. No, but it's greasy, and it's
so greasy.
There's no vegetables.
It's only cheese and beef. Like there's no like sauce. There's no veggies. There's no like anything else.
Okay, but are we trying to win or are we trying to?
The bread is soaked.
And the bread is soaked.
And the bread is soaked.
Yeah, exactly. For brötchen, this is normal. This is like a normal looking thing. Okay, we're doing this one. Damn it! No.
95 for the greasiest burger.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
What is it?
Why is the turkey chipped? Why?
It's stuffing.
No, the stuffing's on top. The bottom is turkey.
Oh, it's just how they shred it.
That's horrible.
Okay.
don't
I'd like to see you try.
Why are you offended? Did you make this? Vadia, did you make this? You're just like, I made this amazing chicken. I made this turkey sandwich. I snuck it in here. Gene's going to see it and compliment me.
That's
He's just
how I
like,
would prepare it. That's similar to how I would prepare it, though. Cause, like, I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry.
you didn't even... You're hyper... Okay, I'm sorry for hating on your hypothetical sandwich. That doesn't exist, by the way. That you've probably... Have you ever made a stuffing and turkey sandwich?
No, because fun fact, Chad, I don't really like turkey that much. I'm gonna be real.
You don't even... So you wouldn't make this. You wouldn't actually make this ever in your entire life. But hypothetically, if you were to make it...
If I had to, I would prepare it pretty similar to that.
You also
Actually, you know
don't like
what?
turkey.
No, you know why? The
Why?
stuffing is like a brick.
Yeah. I don't know what these... Oh, these are roast potatoes. The roast potatoes look really good, though.
They do look good. Those are also really nice gravy. I can tell the gravy's really good.
Okay, and we're gonna look at the chicken on the right. I'm gonna slowly turn to the right. Okay.
Hello, Emma. I just woke up. Popcorn chicken and chips. That looks like a lot.
I know, but it looks like it's been microwaved.
Like the nuggies?
Yeah, the nuggies look microwaved. This looks like...
The fries look good, though.
The fries look good. Okay, so chat. I'd like you all to understand my perplexity right now. Delicious looking roast potatoes or French fries, because the entree on these are both subpar. And I love a good roast potato, especially like this.
There's more volume of fries, but I personally prefer roasted potatoes over fries. That's the issue I'm having.
I know, potatoes. Yes!
Keeper, who you making say that? Because there's two of us here.
Oh, we literally both have to say this. When you ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Nya, you didn't do it. You had the time. I counted down. You didn't do it in time.
I
look like a weeb.
Fine, I'll do it again. Shit.
No.
Whatever. Fuck you.
It's too late.
Nya.
Awful.
Keeper, who did better? Awful. The fucking? How?
Gene, stop bullying Vanya. No.
Oh, I win. Fuck you.
Okay. Pies.
He's jealous.
Shut up. Steak and potato and Guinness pie. Okay, chat, I'm going to talk about pies real quick. I was so disappointed going to England and having a meat pie. Because meat pies don't have vegetables in them. And I know what you're saying.
That's normal.
Gene, it says meat pie. Why would you expect vegetables in that? Well, the closest thing we have in America are called pot pies. And pot pies have like a full-on like thing in it. They have like corn, not corn. They have carrots, they have peas, they have meat, they have gravy, they have the whole like shebang. I had a meat pie and it was like solidified, coagulated beef in a pie crust.
That's
and
not
then
normal pie then.
My Scottish what?
That's not normal if it's coagulated.
Oh, well, it was like one of the ones that you get like in a freezer section or something. Or like the fridge
That's still
section.
not.
Because like it's not heated, it's cold.
You can still get really good pie. Wait, did you not heat it? Did you just have it cold?
No, okay, no, hear me out. So my mother was dating a large Scottish man at the time. And the Scottish man was like, yeah, that's how I used to eat it as a kid. And so I was like, okay, sure, let me have it. Because we were on a ferry. And so I had it. And it was just plain and boring and bland. So, yeah. Anyway, steak and potato.
I would have picked the left personally. You know why?
It was a
The
butter
right one is
pie.
the right option, but also no. But it's actually because how they serve it. Because like if you have it upside down, it's easier to eat because the crust, in the most part, is like really hard to break apart.
Mm-hmm.
And like you have it soaked in the gravy. That's like the peak way to like prepare a pie, in like that combo.
I believe you.
That's my little tip for you, chat. Just a tip though.
Chat, in
Nothing
case you're
else.
having... You just didn't... What?
What is a double cheeseburger?
No. We're not driving by this one. Did you say just the tip?
I mean, I can give you more than just a tip, Gene.
Never mind. Okay, chat. So... Yeah, no. The one on the right looks awful. This is definitely like we've had the wrong sandwich bread. Double cheeseburger and a hot dog roll, or Thai noodles.
Pad Thai, dude. Pad Thai with the chicken balls.
Yeah, obviously, easy.
Vanya, can I have your tip? Only if Gene wants. Or allows it, sorry. What is with the advertisement level photos? Oh, it's from Sweden, that's why.
I just like the sauce here.
Yeah, it's like truffle mayonnaise. That's really good.
Look how
Have you not had that
fancy it
before?
is. No, but look how fancy they put it out into this container.
Yeah, it's
Like-
probably because they piped it.
This is some effort was put into this one. And the one on the right,
It looks good.
left, chat, left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Easy.
Thank God. I trust it. We've seen the right one before. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. Yeah. We have salt
Yeah,
and
'cause
chili
it's
chips.
overloaded. That's what we said. It's like too
Honestly,
much
today it's
sauce.
looking okay compared to the one on the left, which is just they put like a gold filter on it.
Yeah. And also it's like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
that?
And this is
Really?
4 pounds.
Like the chicken looks good, but not like 10 pounds good.
Yeah. Chat, what is 10 pounds in real money?
What does that mean?
Alexa, 10 pounds to dollars?
It's like 14 bucks.
$13? Wait. How's the pound dropped that much in value? England, are you okay? Do you need help?
Yeah, 10 pounds sterling is 13.47. It's like,
Are you?
yeah,
It used to
pretty
be almost like 1 pound was like $2. What happened?
Brexit, and it's really depressing in the past year. I don't want to get into it, dude.
I mean,
Wait,
I'm
did
not.
you not hear about the
just-
ID shit?
ID? Oh, you mean the porn
You need to like submit. No, not even porn. It's like everything. You need to submit your ID to everything to like use it, like YouTube, Discord, everything.
Oh God, did you hear? I heard about the YouTube one where they're like, "We're gonna guess how old you are." I'm like, "Oh shit!" Well, you watch one anime that seems too young, and suddenly it's like you can't watch anything adult.
Yeah, you
Fries.
can't use Spotify without an ID. I forgot about that. Like you were completely locked out just listening music on Spotify now. Okay, I like pie. I think I've made that very clear.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? No
It's a
gravy
Balti pie.
whatsoever. It's just with curry sauce. I don't know if it.
No. No.
You need like a gravy to soak in.
You need
that,
a gravy. Yep, cheesy chips.
There's no meat. There's like barely any meat in the curry. No, it has to be cheesy chips. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
What the
Why does the
fucking
one on the left
sausage?
look like they went to IKEA?
It's because it's in Germany.
It's a vegan sausage. Okay, I was about to say this sausage looks weird. That's a vegan sausage. So this is
These
fake
are two
meat.
really good choices, though.
And vegan sausages aren't that bad, but the texture is always really off.
That's fair.
And katsu curry. Oh no.
fries.
Oh no. Oh no,
What?
chat.
What?
The one on the right is supposed to be a katsu curry from England. There's naan. There is
Oh, it's
egg
from Woking.
rolls.
It's from Woking. No, we gotta go with Germany.
Oh, chat. My camera's fucking up. 1 second.
Do I hear birds? Is that your alarm?
No.
Oh,
There's
am I
just
going
birds
schizo?
around you.
No, there's no birds around me.
Okay, so yeah. Here's the thing. This is a katsu curry with Cajun fries. None of this looks anything as what they just said. None of that looks like at all what it's supposed to be. This is like, so obviously we're gonna have to go with the one that actually is what it is.
Not even just for the price, but like the. Oh, you're kidding me!
We're the only ones that particular. This is stupid.
Why does
This
the mail
is
look like that?
What? No, this is mustard. Well, maybe it's
Really?
really.
It's mayo.
No, there's no way they're putting mayo on a bratwurst. That has
Okay,
to be
but like
mustard.
look at the consistency and the color. That's mayo.
No. That's mustard. I refuse to believe that's mayo. Nobody's putting.
Also, that's a really greasy double cheeseburger. Why does it look so sad?
I just want to complain about this though, real quick. What is with every place doing these giant, oversized sausages on small buns? You could have cut this in half and given me 2 sausages. Is the bread that expensive? Is that what the big cost is? Or do we just like, I need you to look like an idiot while you walk around with this? Because you know what's good
This is-
about
no,
fucking hot
that's-
dogs?
That's
Bratwursts?
cheap. That's cheap.
It is cheap. It is cheap. But why is the bread so small?
Because that's a ciabatta bun.
Then they could have
It's
cut it.
extorted
They could have cut it in half. They could have cut the sausage in half, given
That's
me
effort.
2 ciabatta
That's
buns.
effort.
I'm
That's
paying
effort.
for it. I'll pay an extra £1 for another piece of bread. I like the combination of bread and sausage, okay? I don't want my sausage by itself. I want it together.
Playing with a kitten?
They're playing with a cat.
Ah. I've never been so embarrassed to be a Brit. No, listen, that's just how I've been the entire time I've been playing Scrandle.
Bratwurst.
Gene, I'm sorry.
No!
Gene, I'm sorry for being British. Can you forgive me?
No. Go colonize something.
That's a good pie. That's a good pie.
Okay.
Oh.
And it's $4.60 compared to the sausage, which is just... Okay, yeah, that
Why
one's
does
easy.
the sausage look like a dong? Oh, that's so close.
Okay, chat, it's time.
don't
You
know.
ready?
Oh,
We are
shit,
going to
good
try to
time.
win this one, chat. We need to
All
win
right,
this
I
one.
believe. You need to.
Do you think we can do it?
I'm gonna cry. I think we can. It's the one on the left.
I'm going to be right back, chat. Give me a second.
I've been waiting. Gene, yeah, you don't understand. I've seen this one before, and I've been waiting for it to pop up for us. It's so cool. Please read the text. Please read the text. Look at where it's from. Michael Bublé concert. They paid £9. £9? Who's going to a Michael Bublé concert? Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh, oh, hello, 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 hello. My mic just does that. Um, Chat was tracking me away. They were trying to steal me again. I told you.
I'm muted. I've been muted this entire time. No. Okay. Okay, chat. First off, this is insane. Who's getting food at a Michael Bublé concert? This is insane.
Who goes to a Michael Bublé concert?
I do. I would have seen Farhan presents.
Really?
No, have you seen it? Have you seen the thing? Chat, 1 second.
The specific thing you're saying, no. I don't think so. I kind of just hate Michael Bublé because my mom used to overplay him for a while growing up. This is not real. What the fuck is this?
There you go, chat. Michael Bublé farting on your presents. So this is a picture of one of his albums. On his albums, but he's just holding it behind him. He has this serious concentration look. So the idea, Michael Bublé
Gene,
farting on your presents.
can I ask you something?
What?
Can I ask you something? For my Christmas present, can you recreate this photo for me?
Maybe.
No.
All right, so we're going for the lamb Rogan, Josh.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank God.
What are you
1450. Alexa.
Okay. Roast potatoes. I love roast potatoes.
Oh, no. That's how you serve a sausage. That's how you serve a sausage.
That is how you serve a sausage. That is a perfect sausage. But the roast potatoes look so good.
Oh, they do. They're both on the same.
We are trying to win,
price.
though, right?
The right one has to win. I feel like, right?
If the potatoes win, Vanya, I will influence the trout population. Morning, Casey. How
To
you
me
doing?
or to you?
Ah, there we go. Okay.
See, I knew it. Huh?
I forgot this is a thing.
What? That's a thing?
That's a thing. Do you know what chicken and waffles are?
I've heard of it, but I don't think it's in a fucking ice cream cone.
No. So this is a bastardization of it. We're going with this. Sausage was more worth the money, exactly. We're going with this one. Yes.
Canadian.
We're winning, chat. Okay. Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay, but the one on the left looks better. But remember, chat, the way this works is that this has been sitting on a Twitter page and like, would you eat this? Would you not? So this one could have been like, oh yeah, I would totally eat this. And this one could have been, I would totally eat this.
I just don't trust West Brom.
Yeah.
But it does look good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Bye, Hoshi. Mwah. You have a good one. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the stream.
Hoshi, I'm gonna tuck you in.
We'll tuck you in, Hoshi.
Yeah.
Hoshi, what do you mean you're working? You're sick. Go to bed. Go take a shower. Eat some food. Eat some fucking food.
Eat the
You
food on
better
the
be
screen
a-
right now. It looks good.
And you take care of yourself, okay?
Some veggies.
And I'll come by and check out your stream sometime. I followed you, so I'll see you now. Not that I ever really watch streams. Anyways, food on the left, right?
Okay. Yes.
Good. Yes. Oh, by
it's so
1%.
close.
1%.
Ugh.
That's true. That's.
What am I looking at? Like dog turds?
I'm glad you said it. Who
Gene, is
pooped on
this your turds from is this your poop from this morning? What's happening here?
Who pooped on the plate? Who poop on the plate? Why you poop on the plate?
Gene,
No.
was it you?
No.
Was it you?
I have better
no.
consistency. The right looks good. The right looks
Okay.
amazing. Butter chicken,
I don't want to
amazing.
think about that.
90%. Right.
Good. Thank fucking God. Oh no. What is happening here? Is that even a patty? What is that?
It's a smash burger. What they do is they take like a circle, like a round ball of meat. They put it on the thing and they smack it down really hard, so it gets crispy all around. It's good. This is not a good one. Pork chips, stuffing with gravy.
Why does it look like the fries are like pitchforks that hang people's heads when you kill them from the witching times?
Excuse me?
What? It's from England. You know about the witch hunts, right?
Why do the spikes look like pitchforks that we hang them on during witching times? Is that what you said?
I think so, yeah.
It was a
You don't know
lot.
about
I'm
that?
surprised I got it right. No. But I'm just saying, what the fuck do you mean? Why does it look like pitchforks? That was so long. You'd be like, why does it look like pitchforks?
Your mom is a witch. Lynx is a British national. I have to go take the townspeople out with my pitchforks and fight your mom.
What do you mean the Grossberger one?
Huh? What the fuck am I looking at?
Chicken
Dude,
wing. I
there's
think you mean
plastics-
chicken wing. One wing.
What is the plastic there for? What is it hiding?
Why is the rice shaped? Why is it on paper? Was this all wrapped up in paper?
You just know that rice is dry as shit too.
Who made this? Chat. Okay, we're gonna let you vote on this one, chat. Which one do you think it
Wait,
is?
this is from Indonesia. Wait, hold on.
Vote, chat.
No.
Which one? We're doing a poll. We're doing a poll.
No.
We're doing a whole minute poll for this. All right, here we go.
I'm gonna cry.
And we're gonna set this for a minute duration. All right, chat. Vote. Left or right? Which one do you think is better?
You didn't spell right correct.
I didn't spell a lot of things. I didn't spell left correct either.
You did it first, and then the second time you did.
Right. Okay. Who picked left? Who picked left?
I did not vote. I did not
Who
vote.
picked left? Stop picking left.
It's Dar. Dar has to be the one that's like.
There's
voting
two.
left.
Two people voted left.
Who else voted for left? Hey.
I can make one excuse. No, stop
someone
it.
no.
Stop picking left.
No.
Stop. Okay, thank God. Thank you. Whoever picked right, I love you. If any more of you pick left, though, I will find you. I will come to your house. I'll take all the food from your fridge.
It's a joke. Twitch, it's a joke.
Hi, Dr. Rowie. I'm not threatening people right now. Why would I ever threaten people for picking the left one? It was me. I picked right. Thank God. Okay. It's the right one. There we go. 67% was like, yeah, I need that.
It's 30 like pence.
All right.
How are you supposed to eat the sausage with the bread when the bread is like that? And it's 12? Denmark, what the fuck is happening over there? Do you not have bread?
Look, it's correct. But how are you doing, Dr. Rowie? Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
I voted right too. Thank God. Okay, now I'm scared. I need my bread.
That's fair. I get that. Cracked sausage. Cheesy chips. Cracked sausage. Cheesy chips.
Okay. Would you get the sausage, the slab of bread, and beer for 12 pounds?
No.
It's a bit much.
You take a bite of the sausage and you take a bite of the bread? No. I'm not working for my meal. No.
Okay, but Gene, how do you eat that? There's no utensils, so like, how are you expected to eat it?
I assume that this was supposed to be split open, but they just didn't. There we go. That's right, chat. That's right. Oh, we've seen this one before.
Ooh,
okay.
It's 50.
But we're trying to win this, chat. We're trying to win this.
The pork belly.
You think the pork belly's gonna win?
Look at how greasy the burger is, Gene.
I know, but who uses this app? British people.
Canadians. I know at least one Canadian streamer that does.
Mm-hmm.
And you.
I think some people actually dip the bread in the beer. Okay, so pork belly should win, right?
They do.
Huh? Oh, I guess. I told you. It's
the another cheese nacho.
Oh my God. Hey,
Build a
chat.
burger.
Hey,
Wait,
chat.
they build a bear burger?
They build a bear burger. Would you like
They build a bear burger.
raw cheese on your cold ass nacho chips? A burger.
Looks like a burger too.
Nachos, cheesy nachos, or Berber. I don't know. You know, I would cry. I honestly, Crow, valid.
Burger.
They would hand me this, and immediately I'd just be like, why? Why have you done this to me? I only asked for this is 4 pounds. Why?
Okay, Gene. Think about it
Yes.
this way. Okay, picture yourself as little kid Gene. Okay.
Okay.
And you go to whatever with your dad, and then your dad hands you this as your snack. How do you react?
I love it, Dad. Please don't beat me.
Oh my god!
Hey, you asked.
That's your immediate response? Don't beat me? I love it.
Anyways, moving on. 8 out of 10. Nicely done. By the way, chat, we are going to be doing a competition on Scrandle. I want to get some people in here to see if they can win any of these. And once we get to the end, we'll do a ranking and we'll do a tournament. And then we'll do a versus tournament. And whoever gets the most things right wins. What do they win? I don't know yet. Maybe something stupid. Maybe I'll send you like a food gift box or something.
Oh, like a HelloFresh type of thing.
I would burst into flames. I would burst into flames.
Just like combust on the spot.
Look. Okay. I'm on fire now.
The
But
Human
yes.
Torch.
All right. I think we have time for one more.
Okay. Oh, sausage again. Okay, this
Double bread.
How do you pronounce that? Kielbasa? How do you
Yes,
say that?
you nailed that. Kielbasa.
Okay, kielbasa.
I mean, it's in
I would actually
Polish,
go for that
so
one.
yeah.
I don't know how to Polish speak, but like
Cheesewurst.
What makes it cheesewurst?
That's
Is there
right.
like cheese inside?
There's cheese inside.
Oh.
Why photograph it like this?
Listen, his sausage still has the foreskin on. Why did I say that?
Shut up. Go away.
I
I'm
didn't-
kidding. Stay here.
Okay, I'm leaving.
It's the bad burger
Why
again.
is the fucking sausage like? It looks like a Pokemon. Look at it. It looks like a Pokemon.
What?
It looks like a Pokemon.
What?
Do you know what I
Walk with-
mean?
Walk me through this. Explain this as a Pokemon.
Okay, the reason why I say that is because like the reason why is that it looks like a variation of this Pokemon. See?
You fucking okay. The stupid apple pie Pokemon, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're eating it and they have no legs. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, doll bats.
No, but he looks so cute.
I'm
He
eating the
looks really
apple
cute,
pie
though.
Pokemon. Sausage.
No.
Sausage. We nailed the sausage. Sausage. 85. Who's eating this burger? Come on.
It's the fucking pickle. I remember this fucking one. I remember when I said gherkins. Wait, there's more than one piece of gherkin here?
There's too
Really?
itty bitty pickle. That too itty bitty pickle. And the burger, it's burnt on the outside and uncooked in the middle.
That is like Great Depression servings of gherkins if I've ever seen them. Look at how thin and small they are.
This is I
is
hate
sad.
myself and my stomach burger. But I'm having a great
I'm
stream. Thank you,
pie.
Fast. Thank you for saying. We're getting the pie, obviously. We're getting the 960. The pickles just make it worse. Even if you don't want pickles, you.
I want a chicken croquet. That's actually really nice. That looks so good.
Why?
This is
I think
Play-Doh.
we've seen this hot dog before.
Oh, we have, and I think I had the same response. It's just Play-Doh.
It's the most beige fucking sausage.
That's been squeezed out of a tube onto a plate. You could touch that. It probably is like liquid. That is like liver paste is what that
You know
looks
what
like.
it looks like? It looks like solidified tubby custard. Have you seen it?
Oh, God, yes. It is tubby. It's this old tubby custard. Okay. Chicken
I saw
croquet.
this.
Chicken croquette. That looks amazing. But this also looks like it's been manufactured.
Okay, but it looks good and edible.
Yeah.
Thank God. Who was voting yes on the fucking hot dog?
Some people will eat anything.
Why-
Yeah, come
Why is the
on.
meatball like up to the camera lens? Do you see how like blurry?
It did look like Leberwurst. It looked like Leberwurst. Meatball chips, gravy, mushy peas.
What's
This one.
first?
You can Google it. What do you mean? What do you mean I lost? But no. That was less than 1%, chat. That's not funny. That's not fine. That's awful.
Oh, the jerk chicken.
Oh my god, the jerk chicken looks amazing.
Oh, and look at the price for the Korean chicken. 21. Are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Nailed it. Nailed it. Easy, 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 easy claps.
Oh.
Vanya, you're wrong. It's the one on the left.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You're gonna pick the pie because you like pies.
No, that's the pie I don't like.
Oh, all right. All right. It has the curry sauce. Chicken?
Yeah.
Chicken?
Yeah.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, we're off by 1%.
What? What? No, not
It's
again,
back.
Not again.
It's
Not again.
back.
Not again. Not fucking again. Dude, what do you mean panini? What do you mean panini? Chat, do you remember the last time Gene spent like 8 minutes trying to fucking gas snap me into
There's
thinking
cheese.
that was the food?
You see the cheese?
There
It's
was
right
a
there.
corpse of cheese. There was a lingering spirit of cheese.
It's there. You can see it
barely
quickly.
anything.
Look, I will Photoshop this so you can better see the colors. I like how the cheese is infused in the bread.
No. I see the coloration.
Yeah.
Dude, it is like what is like 0.001 millimeters of fucking cheese. It's barely anything, dude. It's like if you sprayed perfume on a piece of bread, it's like, oh, this is perfume bread. No, you're eating perfume. No. It's not a panini.
All right. So what I'm hearing is you like the panini because it has grill marks. Handcrafted, delicious, incredible looking pizza. But it's from Bolton.
Please.
Manchester. Manchester, little bit of cheese, little panini. I mean, like, isn't this so scrumptious? His finger. He's the same he's more colored than anything on this. I don't know, chat. I think the bread should win this one.
The finger white man has more like coloration than like the panini.
Yeah. Amazing.
Pick the pizza.
I'll pick the pizza. 19. That's a high for the bad food we've seen.
Oh, that's a flat ass burger.
That's not a burger. That's a buffalo chicken sandwich.
It says burger.
I know, but you're wrong. Okay. We're not doing mushy peas. We're not doing mushy peas on fries.
You both?
Oh, wait, no, that's chili.
Yeah, it's asada.
Okay.
I would honestly go with the asada fries, personally, if I were to like...
Do you know why I want to go with the asada fries? This is where... LA has a lot of Hispanic population. Carne asada is made best by Hispanic population. This is from Troon, Scotland. And I don't trust them making this.
It looks like a UFO, the burger. Like, look at the proportions.
I think this is the best it could look. No. What do you mean?
Oh!
We did so bad, chat.
Hi, Chubb.
Hi, Chubb. Yeah, the carne asada fries looks good, especially from LA. Especially from LA.
We don't get much Mexican food here, but...
You know, you might be surprised why. You live in China.
No, I live in Hong Kong.
You live in Hong Kong. Yes.
Yeah.
You are surprisingly far away from Mexican people.
Okay, but here's the thing. We have Mexican people here too.
I know, but like you're not gonna have as many as we do being next to Mexico.
I'm far away from people. Okay, yeah. So, but like, no, like a lot of the food, like Mexican food, has like shut down even before COVID. So like, it's really hard to get like good Mexican food now.
I have a feeling. Honestly, I can just like I don't feel like the Chinese palate or the Hong Kongese palate would be too fond of Mexican food.
You'd be surprised.
I feel like a lot of Asian food has a lot more presentation, and like a lot of Hispanic food is like not as nice in the presentation.
No, listen. You would think that, but like dude.
Hmm.
I need to get you some actual like Chinese food because like the way they season and like the flavors of the food are actually really good.
As in
Like,
Mexican
I like
food or
to eat,
Chinese
like,
food?
No, Chinese
If it's
food.
stretch.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's why
yeah,
I meant-
Chinese food is great. I mean, oh, chat, my phone is dying. Oh no.
You need to start charging your phone more.
I normally do charge it, but I lost my cable, so I've been using the same cable to charge my cell phone and my camera at the same time. So
How do you lose your cable? Do you need me to fucking send you a cable?
No, I can buy another cable. It's here somewhere. I went on a vacation, okay? And it's the cable somewhere. Anyways, chat, it is 5:21, and you know what that means. Hope you all enjoyed
It's
the
actually
stream.
7:21.
Done with you. Done with you. Okay, so it's 5:21, chat, and you know what that means. Unfortunately, we do need to come to an end of stream, but I will be back here later today at 4 p.m. MST. We're going to be playing some Outlast Trials with the lovely. You are always late. Chubb, weekend streams, though, are a little bit later, so you'll be good for that. So we'll be playing some Mitchie Outlast Trials. It's going to be great. So for now, we need to find somebody to raid out to. I hope you all enjoyed this stream. It was fun. It was silly. It was goofy.
Yeah,
Funny.
this is actually the last stream I'm gonna be on. Gene's getting rid of me again.
I just announced we're doing a tournament. I need you for that. I need you for my tournament, okay?
Do you need me?
I need you. Ooh. Anyways,
Why did you say ooh woo over that?
Oh. Anyways, kiss for chat.
That was such a bad oh whoa.
Oh, whoa. Oh, there you go.
I'm not even trying, Gene.
Try fuck you. Try to shut the fuck. Anyway, okay.
Shut up,
So we're gonna raid into Leia Panthera. They're one of my all-time favorite streamers. Oh, they're making puzzles. Isn't that fun? Now, let me see.
There's doggies. Wait, look, there's doggies.
No. We're completely fucked.
Oh, wait, go back up. Wait, go back up.
What?
I think I saw someone.
Who?
Am I stupid? Oh, I thought I saw someone. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, we're gonna raid into Leia Panthera, and we are going to. I am ending. I'm sorry. It's the time I always end, chat. Every single day is the same time. Why are you always surprised? Mwah. I'm sorry you all missed it.
How dare you not extend stream for each viewer that comes in late?
If I could, I would, chat. But we need to hit partner status first. I need to start making money at streaming so that I can quit my job. And like this is not like I'm not gonna put this on anybody. One day I will get to the point where I can be a full-time streamer eventually. But unfortunately, I do have a full-time job to go to, so I can keep affording streaming equipment and hanging out with you all. So my real job pays for streaming. So until one day that this becomes a full-time job, they're gonna have to be these 2-hour streams. I'll do if we hit partner and I get to a point where I can just be streaming. I'll probably be doing 3 to 4 hour streams twice a day. That way we'll have a total of 8 hours. Anyways, we're going to go raid Leia Panthera. You're all amazing. I love you all so very, very, very much. We're going to do a little bit of a... Okay. We're going to do Lucky Raid. Always. Unemployment rocks. Yeah, but unfortunately I'm not. So I'll see you all next time, okay? Thank you all for coming by. I appreciate you all so very, very much. You've been amazing. It's been a good stream. And I will see you all next time, okay?
Bye-bye, chat. I'm waving. Can't see it.
Bye. Okay.